As I said, an extended Medallion Club tonight. So many big games coming up this weekend. Let's go to the boys now for Geelong and Carlton. It's going to be an absolute belter.
It is going to be a belter, Ed. And the last time they met these two sides, Geelong were flying. They hadn't lost a game of football. And this was round 7. Carlton 15-15, 105 to Geelong, winning this one by 13 points, 18-10, 118. And what we loved about Geelong in this game was their run and carry. Myers close, Jimmy. It was exceptional.
Yeah, their ability to get really high in defence or get all the way back in defence, but they don't live back there. And what it creates, Lloydie, is this outnumber for the footy, because every side wants to press up, but because of their running power and their creativity and thinking, they can create the overlap. And we see Tui, who came through the middle of the ground, and you get an outnumber forward to the footy.
And this is their result since that game. So everyone thought, how good is Geelong? Premiership favourite, and they've fallen in a hole since, and they've lost 5 of their last 6, and their only win, Jim, has come against the Richmond Tigers. So what do you reckon's gone wrong for them?
Well, they've lost a bit of that run, a bit of form. Tom Stewart's been sat on. The midfield's getting, I guess, a lot of possessions on them, and especially in the ruck, which we'll touch on shortly.
Yeah, Carlton's defence since that game has really tightened up, so we like what they're doing. I think they've got Sard back, McGovern back. Their best defence is there, Jimmy, and apart from being obliterated by Sydney, which everyone seems to be doing, they've tightened right up.
Yeah, a couple of players assumed some really good roles. Jordan Boyd, Wiedering's been a super player, and we'll highlight a few of them here. The ability to win one-on-ones, but their structure's pretty solid behind the footy. They don't over-commit as far as their starting position, so they've got their direct opponent, so it might be you, Lloydie, but they've got best position and they win from there. They're pretty physical and tough, and they're applying a lot of pressure on the ball. They're the #1 pressure-rated side, which helps your defence get really proactive after the ball's kicked in.
So Jimmy and I are going to go into match committee a bit tonight, and it's about Alex Chincotta. So we're with Michael Voss in match committee. So Chincotta, he's getting everyone at the moment. Chincotta is at the moment. So Zach Merritt was the last guy he got and kicked 2 goals on him. The week before that was Zach Buddies. Look at the minutes he's on them, and he's just actually getting a hold of everyone. So I'm going to say cut the captain off at the head and Geelong off at the head and go straight for Dangerfield from the moment he comes, but then you potentially like somebody else. So he's kicking goals as well, which really hurts the player he's playing on.
Well, he's often started as the half forward, then he comes in and takes whoever his matchup. I want him to stay forward and go over to Tom Stewart, like it's been highlighted in recent weeks. And what sides have done really well, Tom Stewart's still winning 20 touches a game, but his metres gained is down. So what Tom Stewart does really well, not only intercepts, but he really rebounds out of the back 50 hard for the Cats. And that's why putting someone like Chincotta on him, if he does win it, just let him kick it sideways or a little short handball. Take that punch of the Cats' back line away.
Unfortunately, every week we seem to talk about Reece Stanley, and he's up against it again this week with these numbers, which are really alarming.
Yeah, the problem is his form's dropped off, but the opposition ruckmen are really getting hold of the Cats. And when we see these numbers come up, you'll have a look. They're actually dominant. They're actually really kick-starting the opposition, and it's quite a considerable margin. Now, I know they wanted to hang on, so Toby Conway didn't have to play the full season, but it might have to be Toby Conway this week, Mark Blitzarves more, because this is just not good enough. There's a negative rating in here, but the opposition ruckmen are nearly 5 times better as a rating on the ground, and that's why at ground level the Cats are already starting on their heels.
And the man he's coming up against is in career best form, so it'll be interesting to see whether they bring Pitnet into the side or not, or will they just go with the one ruckman where he's been at his best. But just the athleticism of him and the confidence that he's playing with, this is going to be a challenge for Reece.
Especially last quarter, Sunday night the other week, he was unbelievable, and he's had 29 clearances in the last 3 weeks. So not only is he winning the hit-outs, he's still involved around at ground level.
I'm really confident on Carlton. I think they are playing extremely good football. I think they're the second best side in it, and I think they take care of Geelong. What about you?
I think the Carlton midfield will be too strong and they'll win, but only by about 3 goals.
You still got the faith in Geelong, Dano?
No, Vordo. Not for this game. Carlton easily.
Yeah. All right. Don't want to say it.
Carlton.
You say
it like John Elliott.
Count the gun. All right. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we've got more Medallion Club to get through.
The Coleman medal, the Norm Smith medal, Brownlow medal is Jimmy Bartel. Matthew Lloyd.
It's first v fifth, Sydney v the GWS Giants, and they last played only 7 weeks ago in round 8 when both teams were flying. It was the Sydney Swans that won that game quite convincingly, and since that game the Giants have been off and the Swans just keep doing what they are doing. And you look at this from a scoring perspective, both teams were scoring well. The Swans just keep doing what they're doing. They're top 2 in every scoring category, and look at the drop off for the Giants. They've gone from 1st to 16th 1st to 16th, 4th to 10th and 3rd to 14th in all scoring. Scores per inside 50, Jim. It's dropped off badly. We laud them for their ball movement, but it's not quite tracking well for them at the moment.
Yeah, the opposition's been able to actually sustain the first initial bit of pressure for the Giants, and they've been getting what I like to call now the reverse tsunami. They've been able to run waves coming back through the Giants, through their midfield, and of course coming off the half-back line, and it's really opening the Giants up, and it's giving the opposition a lot of inside forward 50s and a good look. And so here's Port Adelaide just last week, and early in the game, that's the first 10 seconds of the game. Bang, straight through the middle, one handball, the overlap, again through the centre of the ground, creating that forward handball. Just a little bit off in the decision-making for the footy, when to press up. One presses up, but the next one doesn't follow. So the opposition's able to get those easy free ones out. Again, watch how easy this comes through. Houston, again, just coming off half-back. He had a massive day, and Farrell. So imagine that's the Swans. That's how they love to play their footy.
Tagging's back in vogue big time, and James Jordan, I think, is going the best at it. So he's got hold of different types of players. This is him on Tom Stewart. He did a fantastic job on Tom Stewart. He can do that, so he can be a forward. He could be potentially a back. He can also take on Sam Walsh and run with Sam Walsh all day like he did. So again, what role do you... For me, it's Kelly, Josh Kelly, or it's Lachie Whitfield. So I'd go after Josh Kelly personally in the midfield, but what do you think they'll do?
Well, I'd back their midfield in against Josh Kelly, because they've got so many different options. So if Josh Kelly starts to beat someone, they'll swing someone else around. Go take Lachie Whitfield because of that run and drive off half-back. Can you slow down the Giants' tsunami off half-back? So I'd be sending Jordan to Whitfield.
Yeah, and I'm joining your Giants match committee right now.
Okay.
And Toby Bedford was one of the surprise of the season last week, where he got a hold of Butters, keeping him to 19 disposals. I didn't see that coming. I don't think even Port Adelaide would have seen that coming. So again, we differ on this.
Who are you going?
I'm sending him straight to Chad Warner, and all I'm saying to him is limit his disposals forward of centre, and if he doesn't hit the scoreboard, it is a huge win for us. So he can get as many touches backward of centre, I don't mind, because this is what you've got to stop. Can you keep him goalless? And that is a win for the Giants. So you're going to another player.
I'm going to go Errol. There's Chad being shot out of a cannon here. He come off half-back, so I just had to highlight that again. It was so impressive. I'm going Errol because he's got huge running capacity, and where Toby Bedford can make it as a tagger is he's got a huge engine himself, and even the coach said it. His athletic profile, the cool, fun words we love to use as coaching staffs now. But look at Errol here. He gets involved in 3 different passages here. It's almost like a training drill in the end, where you get it off half-back, you overlap. At least Bedford can just sit himself on there. It becomes, I guess, an athletic contest. Try and limit the ball use of Errol Goulden.
Yeah, I think the Swans win this one, Jimmy.
Oh, I'm going to go the Giants.
Yeah, the other one we're looking at is Melbourne and North Melbourne. We're excited about this one. I think North are a chance in this game after they've formed the last 2 weeks. And I think they have a better midfield going into this game. It's a big call than Melbourne. So I'm backing in Sherry. I'm a big rap for him, obviously, to go okay against Max Gawn. And then those names underneath are going just as well as this Melbourne midfield with no Petrarca.
And we'll see a bit of Sherry, but Wardlaw, I think he's fast becoming every other person's favourite player. But look at this from the big fella. This is almost like the big guy in Happy Gilmore, where he chases people down, just charges, tackling, and then that lifts all your smaller midfielders. They always say, even at local footy, it starts with you in the ruck. It does start with Tristan Sherry here. He's not only his ability to crash into Max Gawn this week, but follow up, provide some tackle pressure, be that big presence.
You and I sat together on King's birthday and we were frustrated with this ball movement.
So they're out here. They've got Collingwood out. They're all channeling back towards goal. And you can have a look at a young player. They're often, the most coachable. So they'll do everything a coach says. Turner goes back. It's slow. And then what does that allow Collingwood to do? Darcy Cameron comes back off the mark. Max Gawn, good intercept mark. I love this kick in here to Christian Salem. But keep going. There's the handball. Bailey Fritcher's out the side here. You can play with a bit of speed, but players just trudge up the line. And where do we go? Slow, back, across the line. It doesn't matter whether you bring Tex Walker into your side or anyone. It's going to be very difficult to score here. Once you actually get that initial line break, as we see here, great turnover, amazing knock on here. Get the ball, release it forward, keep the ball in the middle of the ground, and look what good things happen. You actually have to take a little bit of risk to get the reward. Here we go, Van Rooyen, all the space, and all opposition defence want to push up. That's how you beat it out the back.
I want to show this guy's numbers. I think he needs to be put out of his misery and put back to the back line where he was a premiership player. So these are the numbers for Petty. He has kicked 3 goals for the season, and look at his last 5 weeks. He's not even taking a mark. So I would put Tom McDonald back. I think he's playing confidence. I'd put him back to the forward line. I'd put Petty back to the back line to give them a chance potentially to kick a winning score. So I'm half tempted to tip North. I'm not going to do it. I think Melbourne will get the job done in a tight one. Jimmy, what about you?
I want to see North win. I'm just going to go North. I think there's a bit of an upset.
Got me, boys? I'm just searching for my beanie. Here we go. And this is fantastic this week at Melbourne and North Melbourne. Here we go. Thanks, Arch, for the handball in. Unlike Jimmy, he tried to take my head off the other week. This is fantastic. So, the Pink Lady, remember that was launched on the Footy Show all those years ago? It is absolutely fantastic. And this is to recognise women with breast cancer. Each player will actually run out with a top with a cancer sufferer's name on it. That cancer sufferer has sent a letter of support to those players. The connection is just sensational. 20,000 people diagnosed with breast cancer every year. 3,000 will lose their lives. So we're right behind it. Wear a pink beanie, www.pinkladymatch.com.au. Jim, I do this with trepidation. Don't kick it back, all right? Here we go. Fantastic.
I'll pass the Damo this time.
Oh, there we go, Lord. Come on, Damo.
Yes.
That's it. Oh, nice hands. There we go. We'll take a break.